You felt it, didn't you? My power. Your blood will add to the reverence of my name. I'm gonna kill him. Do we understand each other?
Rated PG-13.
So, welcome to a new episode of the Movie Pain Train. My name is Andy.
My name is Jake. Get that in there.
Oh yeah, I was just about to cut you off with that too.
You're just gonna roll over
just
me.
roll right all over you. Or steamroll all over you.
Yeah, but
like
you
a steam train.
Yeah.
No, all right. But anyway, enough bad jokes aside. We went to go see a wonderful movie. Unfortunately, we weren't really able to record our expectations. Or do you want to talk about your expectations first?
We can do that really quick, but before that, let's tell them what the movie was.
The movie that we saw was King Arthur.
Yeah, A Legend of the Sword, for those of you who are fans of subtitles.
Yep. New film by Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
Who brought us wonderful hits as Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Brought us Snatch. Brought us the King, not King.
He brought us King Arthur.
Yeah, the King Holmes series.
Yes.
Yeah, before that, it's Sherlock Holmes.
I've seen exactly one Guy Ritchie film before I saw this movie.
What movie was that? Snatch?
The first Sherlock Holmes film.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
I've not seen Snatch.
So you haven't seen Snatch?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay, all right. There's actually kind of parts of this movie that are lost upon you.
A little bit, probably.
Yeah. All right. So so your first movie then was Sherlock Holmes?
Yes.
In the Guy Ritchie universe.
Yes.
What were you expecting out of this film?
I had not low expectations, but I didn't think it was going to be a very good movie. I thought it'd be kind of, like a light beer, just kind of empty calories.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm familiar with a lot of Guy Ritchie's visual style. I've only seen one of the movies, but I have seen clips and edits of the way he films, and it's always been very visually stunning. So despite me thinking it was going to be not a very good movie, just another Hollywood blockbuster, incoherent action fest, I figured, at least it's a Guy Ritchie film, so it'll have a very distinct sense of style, and it'll be visually arresting, and it'll be, at least worth watching. So sure. Low, but not like I was for Gods of Egypt, and not like I would be for any Transformers film or Michael Bay film in general.
For me, I was expecting. I kind of was expecting something similar to the Sherlock Holmes films, because his previous films really revolve around an ensemble cast, and them doing things.
Yeah.
I was not expecting the most. The first trailers that I've seen of that, in fact, it'll probably be the one that's preceding us jumping into here.
Yeah.
It didn't really register as a good film for me at all.
I thought it was going to be a sequel to Arrested Development. I thought it was going to be a sequel to Go away, pen. I thought it was going to be a sequel to Assassin's Creed. I just saw people running around in dilapidated castles. I'm like, oh, they made another Assassin's Creed movie. Good for them.
Yeah, yeah, we kind of chatted about that at the theater. Assassin's Creed has issues.
Oh, no kidding.
But this movie, King Arthur, A Tale of the Sword, what was it?
A Legend of the Sword.
Legend of the Sword.
Maybe.
I guess they kind of gave us some kind of header beforehand that we're not supposed to give away spoilers.
Yeah.
But the movie Pain Train, we always give spoilers.
Also, I mean, it doesn't turn out that Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. The good guys win. Shocking.
Shocking. Yeah, you can't have a story about King Arthur and then he just dies.
Yeah, that'd be kind of a weird twist.
Yeah, that would not work out.
Oh, here's a twist. There is not an end credit sequence, even though me and Andy sat in the theater for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Another thing to note as well, no matter how England you want to try to make your film, adding didgeridoos to the music does not make it feel very England.
But it wasn't England, really.
It was England. Spoiler. He was fighting for England at the very end.
He was fighting for England, but this isn't. This is a film that features a diverse cast. They explicitly say that one of his friends, George, is Chinese. Like, this isn't...
He's Kung Fu George, by the way.
I can't believe this. When they said Kung Fu George, I was kind of like, ooh, I don't have a good feeling about this. But it was actually, like, not terrible, which, I mean, for the bar for Hollywood is about as good as it can get. But, like, it isn't like England in terms of like the classical sense. Like, it felt like a very weird version of a fantasy England. You know? Yeah.
So I guess probably the major spoilers for the film itself is that if you're expecting kind of like a kind of like your standard classic King Arthur tale, with the Lady in the Lake and Mordred and Morgana Le Fay and things like that. If you're expecting that, this is not the film for you, because it does have a lot of mystical.
Each of those elements show up. Like, the Lady in the Lake shows up for maybe 15 seconds.
She shows up twice in the film.
I mean, like a grand total.
In a flashback, and then a very poignant part of the film.
Yeah, but it's still like probably 15 seconds. And Mordred is out of the picture before the beginning credit sequence rolls.
Yep. The one thing I liked about it is they establish what type of film it is immediately.
Yeah.
That it is not your King Arthur. It is a high fantasy King Arthur film. Yeah. And that's it's kind of similar to how maybe not similar, but kind of like how The Rock in Hercules, where it's the opposite of that. You expected to have the high fantasy for Hercules, but you got just a mercenary group telling tales. Yeah. As compared to here, you expected to have just more of just kind of a realism film, and it has a lot of fantasy elements in it.
Yeah. The one thing that kind of surprised me too is how focused of a picture it is. I don't necessarily think there's a conversation between characters that isn't someone talking to King Arthur or someone talking to Jude Law.
Whoever his character's name is.
I don't know his character's name. I'm going to refer to him as Jude Law throughout. So, be ready? Almost everyone in the film, like, their name is said, but it's like just it's a Guy Ritchie
passing.
It's a Guy Ritchie film, so the dialogue goes a billion miles an hour,
which is different than a normal Guy Ritchie film, because in normal Guy Ritchie films like Lock, Stock and Snatch, especially, you know the names of the characters. It's kind of ingrained into you right away. Mm-hmm. Like, the only ones we really know are Uther, Arthur.
There's Bill.
I remember
Mike, Bill,
George.
They say that one character's name is Percival at the end, and I was like, yes, I now know who that character is. Tristan is the other one. They said the character's name. Other than that, like, they really just blow by. It's actually to the point where I noticed in the end credit sequence that the mage's character is simply the mage. They never give her name.
Okay, well, I mean, she's really there sent on stead from Merlin anyway.
Yeah.
Merlin's not even in the film either.
He's shown in a flashback. They show him hitting his stick with a hammer.
That's true.
Spoilers.
Yeah, he made a sword out of a staff.
Yeah, it was impressive.
A wooden staff. That's
but like, whenever that sort of thing happens, I'm like, yeah, but it's magic. So, like, yeah. Like, whenever anyone complains about realism in The Walking Dead, it's like, zombies are here. We can kind of suspend realism. Like, calm down. It's a magician. He can hit wood with a stick.
Yeah,
and like transmute metal. Like, it's fine.
I've played enough D&D to know how to transmute. Because, that walkway that they're walking on stone, I transmute it to mud. Now they're stuck in the mud. Then I transmute mud to stone, and then they're stuck in stone.
You feel like someone who's a real headache for DMs.
For DMs? No, yeah. I'm actually pretty good. Okay. I don't do the meta game that much. But
God, I hate when people do that.
But overall, I would say it's an enjoyable film.
Yeah, it was definitely that. Like, there was never a part of the movie where I'm like, is this thing ever gonna end? Or I can't believe I'm still here. Like, the whole time I was like, this is a pretty enjoyable ride. I was thoroughly entertained. It's funny and the action's engaging. One of the things that surprised me the most is that Guy Ritchie does have a very chaotic film style.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a lot of camera movements, a lot of fast cuts. The kind of classic Guy Ritchie shot of, I think it's like a steady cam probably attached to someone's shoulder as they're running, so it is like a close up of their face.
He hasn't really done. I guess that's also in the Sherlock Holmes films.
Yeah.
He's done stuff like that, but
Yeah.
generally, in like some of the other ones, like Rock and Roll and that, not so
All
much.
right. For whatever reason, I just whenever I see that shot, I'm like, oh, that's a Guy Ritchie shot. Don't know.
He does a lot of, especially during the combat sequences. Some of the movies I've like Snatch, and that has got a lot of speed ups, a lot of heavy cuts.
Yeah.
And a lot of slowdowns.
He does play with the camera speed quite a bit. Well, what surprised me though is especially there was like kind of one semi-climatic kind of action sequence where King Arthur beats up a lot of just rando bad guys, right? Mm-hmm. But they're coming at him from all angles, and there's arrows being shot at him and spears being thrown. And through all of this, King Arthur stays attached to the center of the shot, and the camera swivels 360 degrees around him. And throughout it actually does a really good job keeping a sense of space and where he is, where he's being attacked from, and what's really going on. And that like level, admittedly, it does start to look a lot like a video game at that time. But like throughout all of it, you could tell where everyone was coming from, where he is in the shot. And when I go back and I watch Transformers, or I watch a Michael Bay film, or another really big budget Hollywood blockbuster, it's surprising how often that's just failed on a very basic level. It doesn't need to be John Wick, and it doesn't need to be this, but it'd be great if Hollywood could like stage an action shot just once or twice.
I mean, it's very helpful that basically all the bad guys wear black, and then during that sequence, he's also just wearing pure white and is in the center of the shot for all of it.
Yeah, but like even in the background with it moving, like, oh, these are the same guys who were coming from him earlier that he threw or that he elbowed or whatever. Like that in of itself, like I was never disoriented the way like I watched Fast and the Furious 7. I think it was Furious 7, which is a film I thoroughly enjoyed.
Furious 7 or Furious 8? Did you watch Fate?
Fate. I watched Fate of the Furious.
Was that the newest one?
Yes.
Yes, with them versus a submarine?
Yes.
Yes, awesome.
But there's a sequence in it where they're driving through New York City, and they're going from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen, and then right to the left. And like throughout the whole time, like it also doesn't look like New York City. It probably was like Vancouver
or like Philadelphia or some cheaper place to film other than New York.
Atlanta. Probably is my guess.
Probably filmed in Georgia.
Yeah. But like throughout all of it, like it's completely disorienting. Like you really don't know what's going on, and it kind of detaches you from the spectacle of it all. And especially like with Hollywood blockbusters, the spectacle is all there is.
The flow of it was messed up because of the directions. Like normally you have like I get what you're talking about is the flow of that camera work. Or that CGI work of the camera worked out really well for pretty much most of the film.
I don't think there's actually a time where I'm like, wait, what? Which happens constantly in a Michael Bay film. Yeah. I want to keep ramming, like just yelling at Michael Bay.
Well, to bring it down, the problem with Transformers and Michael Bay, I've liked some of his other films, but the problems with Transformers and Michael Bay is that the Transformers have so much detail in them that it's very hard to tell exactly what they're doing because of...
I mean, the detail is one thing, but like there's some times in this one where like I think it was like the second to last action sequence in Revenge of the one where John Turturro points and says, "I'm directly beneath the robot scrotum."
I think that's two.
The real racist one.
Yeah.
There's a part where they're fighting in the Egyptians' ruins, and like robots are shooting at each other, and things are blowing up, and I don't know what's happening or who's going on. And even if it is just that simple visual attestment of like all the bad guys were white, or all the bad guys were black, and the good guys wearing white, like that still creates a sense of space and like clear identification of what is going on and who's doing what.
Yeah, so not to jump off track at all, but I agree with you. Yeah. There's a sequence in, I think, the first or second one where Megatron rips Jazz in half, and I'm like, who did he just rip in half?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have no fucking clue who that is.
Yeah.
But King Arthur, I mean, it's visually really, really nice. There's a lot of really cool sequences visually for the film.
The acting in it's also really good, except for from the mage, but I'm not sure how much of that was like a language barrier because she was very clearly a French actress.
Yeah, probably.
And it did give her kind of like a foreignness in it, which is part of what her character was. She was very clearly just like exotic and weird and different, where every other character was, very, very, like, they delivered the dialogue well. Everyone acted very well in it. Jude Law killed it. Like, he did a great job.
Oh, shoot, my phone is right over there. I can, there was a guy, the guy that basically kind of sacrificed him at the very end.
Yeah.
That had the kid.
Yeah.
He is in a TV show that's amazing. I think it's amazing. It's called Humans.
Oh, yeah.
He plays a cop in Humans. It's part of that series is actually great. Everyone should watch Humans. I'm not going to say that it's better than Westworld, but I think it's pretty damn close.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot, that it's right up there. And then just on the acting, Charlie Hunnam.
Yep.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. Basically played the same character he plays in Sons of Anarchy, but with a British accent. So he still has like the same effortless cool and is vaguely rakish. And it's the exact same character, and he does a great job in this one too. But at the same time, he is so, like, his teeth are so straight and so white that, like, every time he smiles, I'm like, oh, this is not the guy.
Yeah, this is not exactly King Arthur.
Yeah. I didn't notice it with anyone else, but I'm like, oh, dude, he's just way too handsome to be from like 1200 AD.
I mean, Eric Bana played a fairly awesome Uther. I would have loved to see a little bit more centered around Uther. They kind of sped up that whole beginning sequence.
Yeah. For whatever reason, when I was watching that, I just spent the whole time thinking about the opening to Man of Steel. Because it's roughly the same sequence.
I don't remember Frank Frazetta's the Death Dealer in the Man of Steel, because that's what Jude Law was at the very beginning. There, he was Frank Frazetta's the Death Dealer. You go look up Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer, and then when you watch King Arthur, you'll be like, oh.
Actually, what you should do is play Dark Souls 3 for about 4 or 5 hours, and like that's the exact same visual style. And the Death Dealer, actually, yeah, that's actually pretty much perfect. Like, it looks, when I was watching it, there's like various first, I'm like, oh god, Guy Ritchie definitely just played Dark Souls for a little while, and then was like, oh, I want to make a movie about this. Because it looks so much like it.
I'm wondering if some of the, especially the Death Dealer, the animation and the effects that they used for him was very, very awesome.
Yeah, they did a great job with that.
I liked how his cloak worked. I liked everything about him. I'm wondering if when this comes out on video, because it does feel like parts of this was missing. It
had a really, really brisk pace. Never to the point where I felt like it was sprinting through everything. But like there's definitely some parts I'm like, oh, this feels like it could be a 5-minute sequence that got crunched down to like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Like him, like specifically the Lady of the Lake thing felt super rushed.
Yep.
When he visited the Dark World, felt very rushed.
Well, that's kind of in the style of Guy Ritchie, though. He does I guess montages well. It's a quick way for him to establish a lot of things in a short amount of time, and that's kind of how. I should show you the opening sequence for Snatch, and it's done in that same way. The same way that how the movie starts with him kind of growing up as a kid, going, stealing money, et cetera, earning his cash for doing dirty things. Not dirty things, but dirty deeds.
Okay.
He was raised in a brothel, but he wasn't doing those type of deeds.
Yeah, I actually liked a lot of that opening sequence stuff. It probably was only like 10 minutes, maybe, of him living in Londinium.
Yep.
Very posh. And it was a little disappointing to see them go away from that so fast. Because it really gave this like lived in feel. And I think a lot of it was the story he was telling the cop at the beginning. Not cop.
One of the guards.
Black Cloak. I can't remember.
The Black Pants. I think is what they called them.
Black Pants. They're being called Black Pants now.
I'm not sure if they were called Black Pants or something like that, but it was.
They're Black Pants now. That
Yeah.
is so.
I mean, they went through the effort to kind of like name some of the leaders of the guards and
Yeah.
that. They didn't really go too much into them. I would have liked to see a little bit more into those characters, like Mischief John,
Yeah.
and such. Yeah.
Okay.
Just glance at a couple things there.
Yeah.
So
But like even in doing that, I felt like they created a really good, like a lived-in world. Like it was very different than when we watched Gods of Egypt, and I'm gonna keep going back to that for some reason. And it was just like, this is blah blah blah. He's the Lord of Blue de Blue. You know, like they did that. They're like, oh, they would like mention a character as an aside, and it was this way of talking about a character that made it feel like we all know who Mischief Joe is. And in those moments where he showed up, he was a realized character, which is a pretty cool way of writing him.
yeah, they didn't go out of the way though either to do these. I mean, other than the beginning of telling us who Mordred is and who Uther Pendragon is, they didn't actually go out and say, this is Percival, this is Galahad, this is Lancelot, this is. They didn't do any of that. They just let us kind of live with them in that world.
Yeah, which is a little disappointing because everyone either became that guy or became the name of someone from a different movie or just Jude Law, you know?
Yeah, I don't even. I should look up
really
his
wanna know
character.
what
I really don't know. I cannot remember what his character was. His character, it was mentioned a few times. It was chanted a few times. But
Phaedron? Farstrike.
Vortigern.
Vortigern?
Vortigern. Vortigern. Oops.
Your phone's switching all over the place. Okay.
I don't even know that character from history at all. I mean, like,
I don't think he shows up ever.
Yeah.
Bedivere?
Yeah. So, other than shoving down like Camelot as being the last vestige of England, as Mordred is riding his giant fucking elephant demo teams into it.
Craig McGinley has a very strange, like, it's almost like a mugshot on IMDb.
Yeah.
Craig McGinley plays Percival, a character whose name I learned literally from them saying, "You are now Sir Percival." Tap, tap.
Yeah, 5 minutes, or not even 5 minutes before the end of the film. It was like 2 minutes before the film is done. Then we know who Percival is. Who we knew Bedivere.
Yeah,
Bedivere is.
They did say Bedivere a couple times, like at the top. But gosh, his character disappears for 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was because they were going through the life of King Arthur growing up in a brothel.
Yeah, I feel this way about almost every movie, but I think it would have been very good as a miniseries. Like if they just let it stretch out a little bit, but not too much longer. Like maybe like 4 or 5 episodes.
I think, yeah, I kind of agree with that. It would have been, feel it would be better as like a Netflix or even a Starz or HBO.
Because I'm not sure, like for most big budget action films, I'd say, oh, this is probably going to get a sequel. This one I'm not sure about. It is premiering a week after Guardians came out, which, I mean, from the looks of things, Guardians is like an unstoppable monster of a movie at this point.
Guardians was very well. I like the film. I don't think I'll see it again until it's on video again. I would love to see a director's cut of it.
Yeah. Guardians too, for those of you keeping score at home. Maybe. They thought we were talking about Guardians 1. It could happen.
We didn't see this like 2 years ago.
I know, but
3
like,
years ago.
We're live, so maybe.
We're not live now. Jesus Christ. We're only... All right. So, I mean...
I'd go see it. Like, I really would.
You go see it again in the theater?
Yeah. It was enjoyable. It was fun. It was funny. The action was good. It was dark without being the sort of dark that the DC film universe has fallen into, where it's like, it's so dark and so serious. Like, it's never goofy. It's never fun. But like, this film was. Like, there are some times, even at like the very end where people have died, there's some casualties. Like, they have some jokes about tables. Like,
sure.
And that's like worth it, right? Because these films, when they're not like some sort of Oscar bait, super serious film about super serious subjects, like, I don't understand why they don't want to make movies that are fun. They want to make movies that are serious and dark and depressing. Like, if I want to do that, I'll just watch the news.
Yeah, I guess I did eat my entire tub of popcorn, so
Yeah.
it was a popcorn munching film. Overall, I liked a lot of the special effects, a lot of the other things that are in the film that we did not spoil that much.
Yeah.
Was very well done. The cave sequence with the sirens was very cool. I thought that was a very interesting take on how sirens work.
Sure.
Besides the big one.
Yeah, besides the big one.
But otherwise, yeah, I enjoyed the film. It was definitely, you have to see it as a popcorn film.
Yeah.
It's definitely.
I mean, and it's not like it's the first Indiana Jones film either, where it's not like one of the greatest movies ever made. It's like a thoroughly entertaining movie, though.
Yeah, I would. It's no Kingdom Skull. Or Crystal Skull.
Yeah,
Kingdom of
whatever
the
it is.
Crystal Skull, whatever that is.
That was one of the most disappointing movies I ever saw. I actually saw that movie on the first date I ever had when I was like 14 or something.
Oh, shut up! I don't need to hear this anymore. All right, so that's our consensus. I guess we'll give.
I give it a 7 out of 7 stars.
7 out of 7 stars. I will give it a mediocre. I mean, like I said, it was enjoyable. I probably won't see it again.
Yeah.
It was a lot of nice mindless action.
Yeah.
I wish it had a little bit more. To me, it seemed like there are times where the characters just kind of wandered off on their own without any real reason.
Yeah. I mean, it was like an hour and 55 minutes.
Yeah.
Of playtime. That's like discounting the 5 minutes we sat around watching things.
Yeah.
Walking out of the theater. So it was reasonably short. You know, like Avengers 2 was 2.5 hours.
Well, yeah.
And God, that movie went on forever.
Yep. All right. So I'll give it a meh. And
2 thumbs up.
All right. Thanks, guys.